Send a cheeky little tweet. Okay. We'll wait for a few folk to get in first before we start kicking things off. If anyone decides to turn up, they might not.
Sure.
There we go. Nice little turnout for the first 36 seconds. 8 folk in the building.
Loving it.
We'll wait a minute or so, and then we'll start a little intro, and we'll get into things. Dominguez in the building with the good vibes. James Honey, what's going on, guys? What is going on? Really appreciate having you here this evening.
I see Gaza and Charlie Dunbar. Boom, boom. Good to see everyone.
Gaza's in the building. Gaza, love it, mate. I knew you'd be here. I knew you wouldn't let me down, mate. We got Ian, Red Devil. Boys, what's going on? Thank you for all. All of you for joining. Ross is in the building as well. Fellow Scotsman there for you, Quinny.
Hi.
Big Rossy boy. Sam's in the building. Wow. That's the first comment I've seen from Sam on
Handsomes.
On the old previews.
Sam Ty, the football guy.
Sam Ty, what's going on, man?
The tallest man on earth, Sam.
He is a very tall human being, to be fair to him. Very tall.
The tallest man in football.
The tallest man in podcasting. Mate, I'm boiling. I can't stop sweating. All right, we'll kick it off here then. So, welcome to the Sorare Champions League preview with myself and Quinny. Quinny couldn't make it on Thursday with us, unfortunately, but he's back in action tonight, fully fit, so I'm told. And ready to go for this Champions Conference League and Europa League little preview. Obviously, there is other fixtures as well, but it's going to mainly be a European preview because we don't really care about couple of J leagues. Well, yeah, there's actually quite a few J leagues, couple of J leagues, couple of K leagues. There's a few obscure fixtures ongoing this midweek, but yeah, obviously the bulk of it is Champions League and so on. But yeah, Quinny, how are we doing?
I'm great, mate. Thanks a lot for having me. And I think it's always about European football this time of year when it comes to the midweeks, especially up here where we are in the UK, because it's getting close to autumn, and then towards the back end of the group stages, normally we're getting into the proper winter towards the beginning of December and stuff. So it's this is where all the magic of the season starts to kind of happen and unravel. All the stories start to get told. So I don't think anyone will be too worried if we ignore some of the other games that are going here, there, and everywhere else, and just talk about the big ones.
The bread and butter. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, the only negative, I guess, that's sort of attached to it is the whole, rotation issues that we sort of, fall upon, unfortunately, in the Sorare sphere. But yeah, apart from that, it's obviously great viewing for midweeks. If you have the players and the sort of the depth to do so, there's definitely scope for, midweek fun, basically, is probably the best way to describe it, as long as your 5 players play, of course. Or get off the bench. Fred Devil says, "Come on, boys, give me some good news about Maeda." We'll get into all that in due course for sure. But first of all, so run through. We're going to go through the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League fixtures on Play Sharper. Then we're going to go over to Sorare data and just have a look at the matchups, which we'll basically be doing on Play Sharper as well. And then we're going to be looking at the prize pools, and then lastly, just looking at each other's teams. Quinny said he might have 10 teams out. Is that right, Quinny?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah. I think I've only got 3 max, maybe. Yeah, 3 max. But I don't know where I'm going to put 2 of them. One I know definitely, but the other 2 is up in the air. So I'm going to need a little bit of help there. But yeah, that's basically the rundown on things. And yeah, should we just kick it off with the Champions League sort of fixtures and preview?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. Right. So we're on Play Sharper. First game that pops up is the 5:45 kickoff of Victoria Pilsen versus Inter Milan. Pretty sure Inter won on the weekend, didn't they? I'm sure Handanovic had a really good score. So I'm guessing they got a clean sheet, but I would have to be corrected on that if I'm wrong. But yeah, what do we think in terms of fixture here? I mean, odds wise, they're basically 1-2. It's probably going to be, I wouldn't say a walk in the park, but I'd like to think it's a nice victory for Inter, to be completely honest.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be favourites for Victoria Pilsen.
Yeah.
So, I was just checking. The last game was 1-0 home win to Torino. So, yeah, goalkeeper probably did not too shabby. But yeah, with the result, was it Barca that played them in the first leg? And Lewandowski got a bunch. I think Ferran Torres got a couple of decisives. So, yeah, that's definitely the gimme of the group. And any team that doesn't get 6 points against Pilsen is finishing third. Basically, that's probably the way it's going to work out, So those points are quite precious because the head-to-heads will be so tight between the other three teams in that group. Inter Milan have to, and again, if Barca are setting down goal difference on these things, Inter need to follow in kind, and that's the way they need to approach the match from the beginning, and then read the game as it comes.
Yeah, I'm just looking here in terms of the play sharper player percentages, and they're not looking kind to any Inter Milan owners. Starting off with the keeper as well. Play Sharper has Onana down at 55%, even though, like we said, or Sam said in the comments, Inter had a 1-0 win on the weekend, and I know it was Handanovic that was in goal. So I don't know whether that means Handanovic has league games right now. And I know there was some sort of controversy around Handanovic in terms of fans were calling for his head basically, and they wanted Onana in goals. But then I think they played Bayern, didn't they, last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously got beat. I know that's probably inevitable anyway, whether Handanovic or Onana's in goals. But yeah, would you think Onana keeps the gloves in this one?
I think so. Onana, because of the way some of these two number one goalkeeper things have worked, it has been if a guy plays Champions League, maybe that's his gig. That's the way he's been. Because Onana's also a huge signing for Inter, and Handanovic has somehow retained kind of main number one status under Inzaghi. So, I think Onana will probably be the goalkeeper again for this one. I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I just, in terms of outfielders as well, apart from Skriniar and Brozovic, you're looking at, just a lot of potential non-starters, or just doubts in terms of definite starters. I mean, you'd like to think that Lautaro is going to play, surely.
Yeah, Lautaro should start. It's it's a tough one. You would need to really go into looking at all their lineups for the last couple of games to get a real feel of where some of them are at since the Lukaku injury. Because I know Dzeko played a few games on the bounce, and I don't know if he's really had a chance to kind of get a breather. Maybe this is a game he would get that. I've not really looked at it, but. It's a game where maybe some of the guys on the fringes maybe could come in for Inter. I see DeMarco now. I was thinking DeMarco could be a shout to be in this team somewhere if they did rotate to some extent. But I don't think they'll be taking it lightly. To be honest with you, I think they will start the game with real intent to get a really positive goal difference to match up with Barca.
Yeah, 100%. They don't want to be, starting at a deficit after two games. You need to get, like you said, you need to be beating Pilsen, whether that's home and away, to be fair.
Yeah.
I was just looking, they have Udinese away on the weekend, so I don't know whether that means, not so much saving your best players for that, but, just sort of being cautious where possible. But,
sure.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one in terms of rotations and stuff. Sporting versus Tottenham, which is in Sporting, so this won't be being postponed.
Spurs got a really good result in the first match day, I'm sure.
Yeah, what did Spurs do first game?
I'm sure they had a really good result. It's just escaping me at this moment, but
Marseille 2-0. Yeah,
beat Marseille 2-0. They're trudging on pretty strong. I know there's not many cards involved, but Spurs, when I was doing the Champions League preview on Celtics Here YouTube channel, when we were anticipating the draw, I was saying Tottenham were the English team I feared the most, and I think the way Conte gets teams going and stuff, I think they could be a real Sporting Lisbon could get smashed 2-0 in this game as well. And I say smashed because they probably wouldn't do too well SO5 wise, but equally they are a home team in Europe and they've got every chance of winning really when it's all said and done. So tough game, I think, to back in any real way,
Mhm.
shape, or form, whether it be a good defensive performance or an attacking output.
Yeah, I wouldn't fancy the Sporting clean sheet, I guess, with the 22% clean sheet percentage chance. I don't know. I mean, if they go 5 at the back, I don't know. I'd be shocked if Spurs don't score, but I don't see it being like a walk in the park for Spurs personally. I think they win. I think it's going to be close though. I don't see anything over like a 3-0. I'm talking maybe 2-0 at the most, 1-0. I don't know. I just for some reason foresee a very close game here.
Yeah.
Even though Spurs are definitely favourites, but not many rotational issues here if you've got Sporting cards. So that's kind of a bonus. I know they're playing Spurs, but you'd prefer to have a player that's going to play over an Inter player that might
Yeah.
DM. You know what I'm saying? Like might DMP
Sure.
situation. In that sense. So okay, yeah, that's an interesting game. I think it will be close, that one. Okay, massive one here. Bayern Munich, Barcelona. I've saw a report already this morning or today that Nagelsmann have said like Hernandez is definitely starting. I guess why he's at a 90. Like he's basically said like a certain amount of players are starting, and then there's like some uncertainties. Sorry, it was like Gnabry, and I saw it was out of Gnabry and Musiala for the fourth like attacking position.
Okay.
Is what he said. I don't know if I misread that, but yeah, obviously, Kimmich is going to be a definite. They're liking Sabitzer next to Kimmich right now. That seems to be a nice little.
That's one of the things Nagelsmann
situation.
confirmed that Sabitzer will play.
Yeah, I did see that, and they said that like Kimmich actually enjoys. I don't know how true it is, but Kimmich actually enjoys playing with him as well. So, yeah, I don't know what that sort of means for Goretzka in the short term. I mean, he's gonna have to sort of get as fit as he can to where he's not sort of having to get fit every couple of months or couple of weeks, because it seems like right now where Sabitzer's playing week in, week out and seems to sort of fit it in quite well.
Yeah. Sabitzer's quality, and Sabitzer gives you a bit more energy than what Goretzka does. They both kind of do the exact same thing. Goretzka's maybe a bit physically stronger, but
yeah,
Sabitzer's got some shot on him. He's got some eye for a pass, and at Leipzig he was amazing. And it was a really weird transfer, the Bayern Munich one, especially last year because he barely played. It makes a bit more sense now if he is going to play, but displacing Goretzka is huge. So he's got to grasp this opportunity with both hands, because Goretzka is like elite. He's one of my favorite players. So I'm quite happy that this has happened, because I like Sabitzer. I don't own him, unfortunately, but hopefully Goretzka will get really cheap, and then maybe I can get that super rare, and then I can pray for him to recover his career, however he does that, in whatever shape or form. But yeah,
I'm sure he will.
Great development for Bayern.
Yeah, no, for sure. One mistake I did make a few weeks ago, actually, Quinny, was saying that one of my friends actually pointed out that I actually mentioned that Matthijs de Ligt was left. Well, I thought he was left-footed for some reason. I don't know why, but apparently he's right-footed. But yeah, that just brought me on to: do we think Upamecano or de Ligt gets that right centre-back position?
It's a crazy amount of depth they've got, isn't it? Like de Ligt or Upamecano, because
it's crazy, isn't it?
It's mental, how powerful they are. I don't know. I guess they'll fancy, well, it's against Lewandowski, most likely, and Dembele, you would imagine, and then I don't know who they picked. Rafinha, yeah, I can see Rafinha starting this game.
Yeah, that would be the front three, I imagine. To be fair,
it might, you never know. It might be Depay, might be Ferran Torres. All these people are knocking about still and getting minutes.
Yeah.
So like it could be really anything. But Xavi again normally does. I don't know. They say one thing sometimes and do another, I suppose. But that team looks pretty strong. But I think for Bayern, thinking defensively, it's about being strong in the wide areas and keeping Lewandowski like double marked. And maybe de Ligt is better to deal with him than Upamecano, because Upamecano, like at Leipzig, was continually bossed by Lewandowski, so he kind of got his number. Whereas de Ligt's a bit bigger in general anyway. Maybe he's got a better fighting chance of Lewandowski.
Yeah, probably obviously looking at this as well, there's less rotational sort of worries, I guess, in the Barca team. I think Dembele is going to have, I think Alphonso Davies is going to have his hands full basically against Dembele, because right now, honestly, I'm watching most Barca games and the guy is like, he's on fire right now. Like he's almost unplayable. Like I know they haven't really played anyone yet, really, but like he's honestly just taking the piss out of everyone. Like it's getting embarrassing. I don't know whether anyone in the chat is watching Barca frequently, but it's just getting ridiculous. Like, he's so good right now, and he's just playing with so much confidence and actually getting like a lot of DAs as well,
Nice.
which is obviously, you know, seen his price dramatically rise. But yeah, it's going to be tough for Bayern. It's obviously going to be tough for Barca as well. How can you see this one going? Do you see Barca like dominating possession, or do you see? I don't know what I find, because obviously they're away from home, so they're going to have to be as cautious as you can kind of be playing against Bayern away from home. But I don't know. I think Bayern are kind of set up to sort of not counter, but if they are playing Sane, Mane, like there's going to be a lot of pace in that team.
Like
Could they? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think like, and again, people that probably follow me on content have heard me say this too often, but German teams in Europe are really never to be discounted. You know, like they are at home as well. I do expect Barca will get a goal or so, but guys like Muller, Mane, Sane, even if it's Musiala or Gnabry, whoever it is, like that's a very experienced, well-oiled, you know, attacking outfit that against that Barca defense are going to get at home a dozen chances, probably 12 opportunities on goal through the match. Say they get 6 or 7 of them on target, they can get 3 or 4 goals, no problem.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm just looking at the odds here. I hadn't looked before, but obviously Bayern are heavy favourites, to be fair. Barca at nearly 4-1 is quite tempting as somebody who doesn't really bet, but that does look like a tempting price, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be tough to turn over Bayern in their backyard, don't get me wrong, but like 4-1 tough? I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. I thought they'd be a little bit shorter there, but just looking at some of the chat. Go on. Sorry, Quinny.
I couldn't bet against a German team in Europe. Like,
I know it is tough. I understand. I do. Just looking at this, Hazy. Well, boys, hope all is well. I've got a small dilemma. If you're able to help, I saw my gallery with the idea of getting slightly worse players but more depth. As my 5 rares seem to always have a DMP. Would you go for Udinese goalkeeper, or who's better, or Blackburn's with midweeks? Cheers. Ooh.
I think I like the Udinese goalkeeper. I forget who it is, but I think he's good. What's his name? I want to say he's Argentinian.
It's not really, is it? I know Sam's going to, Silvestri.
Hey, he looks all right. No, I wasn't who I was thinking about, but he looks okay.
31. I mean...
And who are you thinking about? Kaminsky is the alternative?
Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah. I mean, I'd personally rather the utility. If you are an ETH grinder, then I would definitely go for the player with utility. But then it's also a case of, well, do you have the players for the midweek as well? There's no good having a midweek goalie if you've got no midweek players to go with him, right? You know what I'm saying, Quinny? So, like,
yep,
that has to be, you know, factored in. Like, can you afford midweek players as well? If you can, great. Then I would go for Kaminsky. But yeah, if you think the Udinese, like if you're just concentrating on weekends and you think the Udinese goalie is better, then that could be the option. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely you're going to need the cards is what I'm saying to play midweeks.
Yeah.
And Jargi's back in the building as well, Quinny. It was nice to see. Just got back from the Shiva, if you guys know what it is, on my grandfather. So glad to manage to join the stream. Lovely to see you, Jargi, and I hope you and your family are all good and sort of in a better place at this point. Okay, we've got Nina in the building as well. Right, next team. Sorry for the little side quest there, lads. Porto Club Brugge. How do you see this one going? Odds are very, very short on Porto. 1 to, or better, worse than 1 to 2.
Well, Porto get mugged off in against Atletico Madrid. And
they did.
Your boy João Mario was through on goal towards the end as well.
I saw you had a big chance miss, but I didn't see the they didn't show it on the highlights. I didn't watch it live, but I did see he had a big chance miss.
Mate, I couldn't believe it. They're like, João Mario down the right. I was watching it. I was like, oh fuck, that's Harry's boy. João Mario. I'm thinking, I remember Harry saying right back doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm watching this. I'm like, he's gonna do it. And then he's just absolutely made a cock of it, man. Like, I'm surprised him there's a big chance miss, because it was like,
really,
he got to like the edge of the 18-yard box. Like, he wasn't in the center. He's kind of off to the right. And they tried to lay it on for somebody. Oh, no. Or did he take a shot? I think that's what it was. He did take a shot, and there was somebody there. He should have just laid it on a plate for them. And that's what it was. He took a shot, and it was a whistler. Like, it was awful.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He's the type of right back to
jump
do
out,
that.
jump out. Ah.
To be fair, like he obviously came off the bench. He didn't even start, bless him. And then, which I kind of knew. And then he played this weekend. He did all right. He got brought off like 60th. So I think he's actually going to start this weekend, as Play Sharper has him down as well. Whether I'm going to utilize him is a different question. But yeah, Pepe's back in the team. He didn't play on the weekend. I think he was rested. Just looking here, yeah, the front. Well, Taremi is suspended. So yeah, Evan Nielsen's back into the side, and then Tony Martinez is sort of got himself a chance. I don't know if Porto should be this short. Well, like, I don't think it's that easy of a game, do you?
No, not at all. I think it's going to be a pretty competitive one, you know.
No,
Sorry.
you're fine. I don't know. I just think Club Brugge, what was it? What was their score against?
They won 1-0.
They beat Leverkusen 1-0. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Sella got the goal. I was just looking to see who they played at the weekend, but they won 1-0 there as well.
They beat Serene 2-0 away.
So this is like a big game for both, you know. Like,
yeah,
I didn't see anything. I watched a good bit of the Atletico Madrid game, and I didn't see much attacking prowess from Porto. And like with the options that Bruges have, like it's kind of tough because, like, you know, for the most part, you would expect Porto to beat Bruges in most Champions Leagues, but you know, look at the Bruges team, you know, compared to the Porto team. I know which one I'd much rather be backing, you know, like I'd much rather see Boyata start this game. I don't think it's going to happen, but unfortunately. But Anderson, Skov, Olsen, Jutgla, obviously Lord Vanaken, and then that Kamal Stoa, they've been very, very good this year. And then the guys on the bench as well. Still got guys like Lang knocking about this team, as well as Kyle Larin. Yaremchuk. Yeah, I mean, so like they can fire for 90 minutes at Bruges, you know, and Sergio Conceição has been quite defensive with the Porto team, and players like Vitinha and Fabio Vieira and whatever are also really good creative players. But this team doesn't have like a clear route to go from what I've seen against Atletico Madrid without those types of guys to unlock something. Like Taremi is obviously he's suspended, you know, but like he was, you know, terrible. To be honest with you, he's absolutely awful in that match last week. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's more hope in the Bruges team than Porto, but I know from personal experience, Porto can beat anyone in Europe in any match day. They're an absolute pain in the arse. But yeah, I'd quite happily see Bruges do well in this.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked at the odds being that high for Club Brugge.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But a 50% clean sheet probability for Costa. Obviously, I like the look of that being a Costa holder, but I don't see Club Brugge actually scoring that many goals, if any, but I just don't see Porto really scoring that many either. I don't know whether that's me being negative, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't see much. Like Pepe's quick, but I just don't see much pace in this team. Galeno's pretty decently quick. So, you know, they got quick wingers, but up front, Evan Nielsen's not slow, but he's not rapid, and Tony Martinez isn't fast either. So I'm just like,
how many of those Porto players get into that Bruges team? None. Come on, maybe the goalkeeper. Probably the goalkeeper.
I mean, probably some of the defense would have to be like I'd have Pepe in there, surely.
Okay, Pepe. Right, let's have Pepe, right? Because he's a legend.
I think I'd have both Pepes. This kid, I don't know if you've seen him play.
But that Jutgla, good. That Jutgla can score goals against teams like Porto, no problem, man. Like you give him 100%. Half a sniff, he'll be in amongst it like a dog eating beetroot.
Like I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know who this guy is. So like,
on your DK, they paid a lot of money from him from Midtjylland. And he's one of these guys. Okay. He's on all the scout reports. Like he's great, like progressive stats. Oh, that keeper, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like it wouldn't surprise me if Porto win, but I also don't see it being like that wide of a game.
71 for Bruges, man. I'm thinking about putting a wee cheeky.
Yeah, that is interesting. I can't believe they're that high odds. Okay, Marseille Frankfurt. Obviously, we saw that Spurs beat them 2-0 last game, so they're going to have a point to prove and going to need points on the board. Favourites just under even money, 36% clean sheet probability. Frankfurt have struggled, haven't they, in the last few games, even in the league as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've been rotten.
Yeah, so they lost to Wolfsburg on the weekend. They lost 3-0 to Sporting at home.
Yeah.
But then before that, beat Leipzig 4-0 and beat Werder Bremen 4-3, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah, this could be a nice little Marseille win here, you know.
It's a tough game to call. Marseille, who was it that get sent off in the last game? Was it Mbemba or?
Yeah, it was Chance Mbemba, yeah.
Yeah, so like Marseille looked good in the game. From the part I didn't watch much of it. I think I caught like a spell of it, and they looked decent. But Frankfurt are so terrible now that surely they can't continue to be that terrible. Surely they've got to get their act together at some point. But looking at that expected lineup, it is a shadow of itself, man. Like, fair enough. Goetz is there, Kimada's there, but the strike. There's
some players there. There's some
no
players,
Kostic, no Bori.
players.
The other midfielder guy is missing. But yeah, it doesn't feel as dangerous as last year. So it's hard to kind of hold out hope for Frankfurt. But again, like the way Marseille defend, like Frankfurt could get lucky in a game like this, and they could like just get games on the break. Like I remember watching Frankfurt last year, and when they stopped being crap, they started being good. It was they would just surprise teams, and they would just take every one of their counter attacks. That could happen. Marseille do leave themselves open the way Igor Tudor has them playing. So I wouldn't be backing clean sheets for anyone.
No, definitely not. But not too many rotational issues here, I wouldn't say, if you're owning like both sets of players. There's a couple 70%, I guess, but for the most part, there's some nice 90s there, which is, you shouldn't look at this and think it's gospel, but for the most part, they do get most things right, to be fair. So, Jargy's giving me a little tip. Harry, if you left click on the lineup and open it in a new tab, then you won't need to go back and open it all up every time. You can just move over. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Thank you, Jargy. I do appreciate it. Is this game going ahead, the Liverpool game?
I'm going to say yes.
Pretty sure it is, isn't it?
I'm saying yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ajax, Liverpool. I've heard that there's going to be a bit of rotational. I know this is wrong. Andy Robertson's out, so this needs updating definitely, because Robertson's definitely injured.
Yep.
100%. And I've seen things that say like Trent might not start, which is interesting, because Calvin Ramsey's only just come back from injury, and they can't really play anyone else there really, apart from Milner. But would you really want Milner over Trent?
Calvin Ramsey, that'd be so funny.
That would be really funny. How would you see this sort of playing out? Because we obviously know that Liverpool have struggled of late. Is it a walk in the park, Ajax?
No, not after like Napoli absolutely spanked them last week, and that should be a real wake up call. We won't see that again because we never had that weekend to learn in between Champions League games of how the team has reacted to the result. So we're kind of going into this blind in that respect. Yeah. But it's I don't know. Ajax will be full of confidence. They absolutely took advantage of Rangers as well and roasted them like 4 or 5-0, whatever it was. So they'll be full of confidence. All their players are always in the shop window. They love the big match. They love showing up and getting a big price tag put around their neck. So going to Anfield, they definitely won't be scared. They'll be buzzing for it, and it will be a bit of a cliche, but it will come down to who's the better team on the day. I think really that's what it comes down to. Who turns up?
Yeah, well, obviously there's a lot of pressure on the Liverpool right now. Obviously, like I mentioned, with how their results have been of late. So like, if they don't get like an early goal or like play really well in that first half and don't, if they let Ajax in and like early on, and I don't mean Ajax scoring, but just having like really good possession, Anfield is just going to be on the back of their team. And I don't know, I think this is going to be a tough night ahead for Liverpool. I don't see them being a 1-2 favourite, if I'm completely honest, going off, recent form. I think I know it's Liverpool at home, but and I know Ajax aren't Ajax every week in that sense, like normally, but they've been really good of late and the start of the season. So I'd be shocked if Ajax get like massively turned over here. A
very even game.
Yeah, I think it's way more even than Ajax being a 6-1 favourite personally. But I'm no bookmaker, so I guess nobody should be listening to me. But I see Ajax giving a very good account of themselves in that game, to be honest. I did it again, Jargy. Okay, Leverkusen, Atletico being away.
I think it's an Atletico win. Like Leverkusen not winning last week is a shock, but it's not really a surprise. Like without Wirtz, that team is really missing something. And it's like, I've been a long-standing critic of Schick and Diaby, and even though they go on bits of form and make me look like a dick, overall, like I don't think they're like Champions League players. Like they're proper.
No.
Could walk into most top end teams in different divisions. Diaby's definitely got real potential. So does Schick, but I don't think they're like that level. And relying on them, like they couldn't do it against Brugge last week, and I don't think they'll be able to do it against Atleti. Like Atleti, like obviously the meme now is the whole Griezmann coming on at 60 minutes thing. So for anyone who's interested in that, I think the contract also says like that's the condition minus 14 games of the season or something like that. So like I think they've got 14 games where Griezmann can play 90 minutes. And then, so they're keeping them up their sleeve, but every game he can play 30 or less. Something I can't remember exactly how, but that's the way, it doesn't matter. So they've got a really good strategy of like turning the game and going even more attacking if they need to, or equally starting maybe a wee bit more attacking and they can turn it down and go a bit more defensively as they get a bit of a rhythm into it. But being away, I think they'll be really happy to sit in and break on the counter attack. And Felix is so good now. Cunha, like also I've got a card of and I'm a big fan of. He's had 3 decisives chopped off this season through VAR and fucking offsides and whatever else. He's had 3 at least. And so there's some things in this team that are clicking that aren't really showing yet to like the SO5 kind of rankings. And I think they'll be going in this game confident. They rested like mad at the weekend, and again they won. They had a good result at the weekend. So I think Atletico Madrid win this like 1-0 or something. Maybe 2-1, but 1-0 probably.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Quinn. I can't see anything other than like Atletico not losing this game. Either a 1-0 or like 0. I just can't see Atletico really conceding any goals. I know Bayern are at home, but yeah, like you said, it just Schick and Diaby just aren't clicking this season. I don't know whether that is the Wirtz effect or the lack of, which would probably be the obvious sort of missing piece in this team, because other than that, everything's quite similar. Obviously, Azmoun got signed, after the whole Wirtz situation, but he hasn't really kicked on as much as he would have liked. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not fancying it right now, to be honest. For them, they're really not the team of what they were sort of last season, or definitely the start of last season. But yeah, like I said, definitely Wirtz to probably blame for that. AC Milan, Dynamo Zagreb.
Now, Zagreb will be buzzing, but the San Siro is a different kettle of fish altogether. Yep. AC Milan are the champions of Italy. They got a good result with the weekend, I believe, as well, off the top of my head. And Rafael Leao actually gets sent off at the weekend. That's what happened. Leao gets sent off. I'm pretty sure they still won the game. The results are escaping me now, but Leao's going to start. He's probably going to get 90 minutes in a game like this because he's going to rest at the weekend because he's suspended.
Yeah. They won 2-1. Yeah.
And guys like Leao and, there's maybe a couple of other guys like the Ketelaar, Giroud. These guys, again, they won't care that it's Zagreb. They're going to see it as Champions League appearances and Champions League goals at the San Siro. And, like if Dest starts, well, that'd be incredible. Like if Dest and Theo Hernandez like can play together and AC Milan can figure it out, they are the 2 most attacking fullbacks in the world. Like they really are. Dest is quality. And, that could be frightening, like because they are levels above Zagreb. But I know Zagreb beat Chelsea, right? But that that is Dynamo Zagreb. They never normally get points. The fact that they've got points already is a real bucked trend at this point.
Yeah,
so I think it'll be a big result for Milan.
Yeah, there was other factors going into that Chelsea win as well. But like obviously, Tuchel's had a bit of a hard time, and they were at home. Like there's certain factors where this time, like you said, they're at the San Siro. I think the odds on this one is probably quite right. You know what I'm saying? I'd be very shocked if Dynamo Zagreb get anything from this game, even a goal. I'd be quite shocked at, if I'm honest. So yeah, maybe avoid your Dynamo players, but you just never know. They are resilient, but like you said, it is a different kettle of fish playing at the San Siro. But yeah, in terms of like rotational issues, I mean, CDK probably plays. I'd be shocked if Brahim Diaz plays.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the Des one, like you said, does Calabria play? I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I know he's played most of the games this season. Whether Des comes, like, is Des more favoured than him? I don't know. He's probably a better player.
Proper debut. Yeah, I think he's maybe come off the bench.
No, I don't.
This could be a good game to get him on for because, like, he has just came from Barca and before that Ajax, so it's not as if he can't play at this level. He clearly can.
No, for sure. Yeah,
100%. Could be a good guy to throw in.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Chelsea, Salzburg. This is one of the London games that looks to be going ahead.
I would
Is on
definitely, if I had some Salzburg
tomorrow.
cards, I would definitely be thinking about playing them because, like,
Would you?
Potter's never done, I know Potter did well in the Europa League with the Swedish team, right? Which I was actually a big fan of all that stuff, right? But
Mhm.
Champions League is a totally different kettle of fish. He's only been in the door like 5 minutes, really. Like, yeah, it could be like new manager bounce and all the rest of it, but Salzburg have been preparing for this like since the draw. Still the same manager, still the same team, their rotation pattern set and whatever. And they'll see this disruption as just ample opportunity to go for it. So, I'm not saying Salzburg will maybe will get a positive result, but I definitely think it'll be a competitive match. I don't think it'll be a one-way traffic from Chelsea by any stretch.
Yeah, no, I kind of, yeah, I'm inclined to probably agree with you there. Yeah, it'll be tough. Chelsea a 1-3 favorite. I think that's very, very tight in terms of like you said, the whole new manager thing. I know that does normally go for teams for the most part, but Champions League is just it's a bit different. And I don't know, this won't be a walk in. Well, I'd be shocked if it is a walk in the park, but Stamford Bridge, if they get an early goal, Sterling, Aubameyang could just pop off and get something early to where they could see Salzburg off. But Salzburg are a very good team. I wouldn't write them off, but no Soleil, or Omar Soleil, or however you say his second name. I think he's the only sort of situation. Well, they got Sesko. Susic is still recovering. They said he might be okay for the game, but whether that means start, well, looking at this, probably not. So yeah, I wouldn't say they're at like full strength, but they're near enough. Seiwald, Capaldo, Karsgaard in the middle, which is pretty normal. They haven't got Wobber though. That's another defender. So they're playing with two centre halves that don't normally play. I know Pavlovic has played now and again, but I don't think he would be first choice in the sense it'd probably be Wobber and Soleil. So yeah, does that change things much? I don't know. Maybe it does. But yeah, I'd be shocked if Chelsea don't win, if I'm being honest. But again, not a walk in the park. And hopefully Fofana can smash 100 for me. Okay, Copenhagen, Sevilla. How did Copenhagen get on their first game? Did they get battered? Or am I just imagining that?
Yeah, they had Dortmund, didn't they? Or did they have City?
Yeah, they lost. Yeah, no, you're right. They had Dortmund. They did have Dortmund. Bellingham scored, I remember now.
Yeah.
Gio Reyna came off we said that, didn't we? He came on early, didn't he? And got 2 assists. Yeah, fair play. Hopefully he's going to be nice and fit now, ready for this midweek. But yeah, Sevilla, they won on the weekend 3-2 away, I think it was. No, it wasn't away. It was it away? I actually watched a bit of the game because my Tangai didn't. Yeah, it was away to Espanyol. I was absolutely fuming to see what happened. I don't know whether you've seen Quinny, but
no, that's a crazy game. I totally missed that.
Look, so I had.
Oh, is that the game he was in? A senior team? Yeah. Oh, nightmare.
And then I had Daddy Ashiel that scored yesterday for Monaco and basically scored 100. And obviously I had a super rare. So I would have basically walked it almost, which is obviously easier said than done. But just really frustrating that obviously came off the bench. But it was actually funny. Have a look at some of these players, right? In the Espanyol. So like this guy at the time, he's down now. On Saturday, his Sofa score was under like the second team, as in like he wasn't even like registered on Sofa score as a Sevilla player, if that makes sense. Like he was registered as a B player. Yeah. And then this guy as well. I don't know whether this is see, so Sevilla Atletico.
Cool.
They obviously played a few youngsters and that subsequently killed me in my SO5 situation. But a bit of a nightmare, but we live and learn. How do you see this one going? I think this will be close,
This is the sort of game Sevilla are like bred on. This is the sort of team that Sevilla batter over 2 games. This is like Europa League. Yeah, this is like a Europa League game. No problem at all. Sevilla away at Copenhagen, like Sevilla beat them over 2 legs and go through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League normally. This time it's in the Champions League group stages. I don't think it'll be any different. I think Sevilla win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Well, now you've said it like that, these are very much Europa League teams, really, aren't they? Playing in the Champions League, just historically over the last sort of couple of years, So yeah, I mean, I don't see there being many goals if I'm honest, but and I wouldn't be backing Sevilla to like if I was a betting man, I wouldn't have them in my accumulator to be completely honest, because they could just bust you. But like you said, yeah, you wouldn't be surprised in other ways that Sevilla get that win away from home after obviously Copenhagen got battered. Is the Rangers game off?
It's on, right? And at the last minute, they've cancelled all Napoli fans attending the game. And Napoli have reciprocated by saying to UEFA, under fair play restrictions, we are not allowing Rangers fans into the San Paolo in the return game. And then it just came out before we came on the stream that Rangers are not going to play the Champions League anthem out of respect to the Queen. So this game does go ahead. I think Napoli are going to be right up for it after this kind of little bit of spice that's happened in the build-up to the game. And, you know, they just battered Liverpool. Raspadori, Cravadonna, as he's getting called now. Cravadonna will show up. Giovanni Simeone, all the boys in town. And, like, you know, they'll be there. And I think Napoli are going to run riot.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, to be fair. Real Leipzig.
Tough game.
New manager. Like,
I think that's going to work out really well. Obviously, Leipzig beating Dortmund at the weekend is a great indicator. Like Marco Rose, like all that Leipzig stuff, like it always works best when you've got a nice group of them all around the same kind of, like they've maybe worked together in the past or whatever, and they're finally all available and you can get them back together in one room. And Marco Rose and some of the backroom staff feels like instant hit. Schlager, Leimer, Szoboszlai was the midfield three at the weekend, done very, very well. And, you know, Leipzig might be rejuvenated under Rosa, maybe back to the Red Bull basics, if you like. And that team that's displayed there is fantastic for some Red Bull football. But Real Madrid are at home, Real Madrid, also seen them last week. I don't think they'll be intimidated by Leipzig, but the way these two teams match up, like Leipzig could have the same game as Celtic did last week, but if they get the same amount of chances that Celtic did in the first 50 minutes, Leipzig could get a goal or two that we didn't, you know. But equally, it could finish 1 each, could be 2 each or something like that. But I think Leipzig, especially losing to Shakhtar, massive pressure on getting points in every match, because losing to Shakhtar is probably not in the plan when the draw was made.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, with this front three, Rodrigo coming back into it, well, they're saying Hazard's at 35%. I mean, there's a lot of pace up here.
By the way, and I actually think Hazard was more trouble for Celtic than Benzema, because see, when we were marking Benzema, like he's not slow, right? But you know, you can mark him, and Carter Vickers could race him. Like it's not a problem. But when Hazard came on, because Benzema went off injured, like straight away it's like shit. Like if you lose him, he's gone. Like you know, it's not the same animal. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like I don't actually know what Real Madrid did at the weekend, by the way, in terms of Hazard's minutes, but Hazard, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he did play a significant part of this match, or Rodrigo can play that role, obviously.
Well, I know Rodrigo came off the bench and went crazy on the weekend, I think it was. Where is it to? Or did he start? No, he started, sorry. Yeah, so he had 1 goal, 1 assist. But Hazard started as well, to be fair. Hazard played 59. Maybe that does indicate that Hazard does start then, but I don't know. According to...
Because he looked good, Hazard. He looked in good nick. Didn't look like, like out of shape or anything like that. All his touches were good. He laid on Modric for that wonder goal. I say wonder goal just because it was a nice technical take from him. It's Modric, but he was very, he looks good, Hazard. I would fear him,
No, definitely. The boys are saying in the chat, though, Hazard started on the weekend but did very bad when Hazard came off. Rodrigo was playing the false 9 and did awesome, apparently. So, that might be why. So, Play Sharper has him down as a 65. But, yeah, I'd be shocked if Real don't score a couple here. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Leipzig don't score. But I think there'll be goals in this game, to be completely honest.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Maccabi Haifa PSG. Do you foresee any rotations here for the sake of it, or no? Like, do you think they're just going to go all guns blazing according to what Sorare data are saying.
I
Sorare
think
data. Sorare.
I think they could rotate. Like, I don't think it's beyond them. Yeah, it is Maccabi Haifa away. Like, it's it's one of those ones. But again, like, they really Gaultier and everything that's happening to PSG, they're not really in that mindset of any game can be taken lightly. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. I think it will be kind of controlled, and it might just be like some minute relief for somebody. But Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, it's a Champions League appearance, and it's a Champions League game. They can go and get goals in. They'll all want to start. They'll all want to play 90. It's all the other pieces around them. Like, do you take them to Israel and they maybe get a booking you don't need, or they pick up they've got a wee knock, and maybe they could miss this game. That kind of thing could happen. But front three, I think, you play them, and they'll probably score 3 each.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. They'll probably want to get this wrapped up in like before the 60th, and make a boatload of changes beyond that.
It's like Wayne Rooney playing San Marino. These guys will be licking their lips at this fixture. Yeah. All of these guys are like, this is where we get the stats up. You go and pump a team like Maccabi. With all due respect, but they've done it to Celtic. They beat us like 7-2 times or something like that, or 7 and 6. You see these games and all that. I'm getting 2 or 3 goals, and it's going to boost my goal to game ratio. That's the way they look at it. They take no prisoners.
No, Georgie says my prediction for this game is 3-1 PSG, but Haifa can win if PSG don't play seriously. I can see a surprise. I mean, I know you're biased in a little way, Georgie, which is fine, but I do think we're going to see more of a gap in score personally. Than a 3-1, but hopefully, for my sake, I'd like to
some occasion for Maccabi Haifa. But man, what a team to welcome! And I'm sure it'll be. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it'll be a difficult place for them to play. But I've seen it firsthand. It's brutalized me personally. They will do it. Trust me, if they get a chance.
100%. Right, Man City, Dortmund. Is this a walk in the park?
I don't think so. Like, Dortmund are always flaky, and I know they lost to Leipzig at the weekend, but they would have definitely underestimated that game. They'd have definitely been sniffing their own farts, and I think they should always be feared. They can always score. They can always cause teams problems, and they won't be taking this game lightly. They'll be fully focused and fully going at it. So I don't think it's a walk in the park for anyone. This feels like one of these games that's 5-4 or something like that, where it is just an absolute punching match, just team going shot for shot the whole game.
This is the type of game that I can just see Bellingham just having a stormer. Whether that means they win the game, probably not, but I can just see Bellingham really trying to play out of his skin and sort of put himself in the shop window even more than he obviously already is. But I think he scored there last season, or maybe I'm sure they played each other last year in the Champions League, or maybe the year before. And I know, I'm sure Bellingham had a goal at the Etihad, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, I would be shocked if Man City don't win this, but like you said, it could be a bit of a goal fest. Does Haaland score against his ex-club, and does he get 3? Quite possibly. Let's be completely honest about it. Like, I think they have their second keeper in as well, Maya, for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I think Cohen got an injury.
Okay.
Somebody got injured at the weekend. It might have been him, or somebody got injured at some point. Goalkeeper begins with K. Somebody's getting an injury. Kobel or whatever it is.
Yeah, Gregor Kobel. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just laughing at Glenn Hoddle's comment. Have you seen?
Yeah, Jesus Christ could manage Maccabi Haifa. It's Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar.
That's so true. Okay, and the last game, which is probably one of the most more exciting ones, I guess, on paper, is Juve Benfica.
Now, I don't know what I think about this. Allegri is still kind of not really. Doesn't feel like he's really figured this Juve team out yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't think I've not watched enough of Juve, but everyone's telling me how crap Allegri's doing. And when you look at the results and you look at the scores all the players are collecting, it doesn't really look like much is going on. Kostic has done well. He's got like 3 assists in 3 games in a row, which is quite cool. But I think Benfica, who did they have in the first game?
They beat somebody 3. Oh, I can tell you now. Sorry, it's
Maccabi Haifa.
It must have been Maccabi.
Yeah, so like they've got that little cushion of 3 points. They're probably going to it's away in Turin in Champions League, so it's always going to be difficult for a team like Benfica when they've got Vlahovic and all these guys in attack. But I don't know, it could be. Again, this game's very low scoring. It's maybe 1-0, 2-1 at a push. But I don't think it's a goal fest.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on paper, definitely. Benfica 3.5 to 1. I kind of like the odds on that, you know, just with, like you said, Allegri and Juventus' sort of start of the season. I wouldn't be betting on Juve, to be fair. Glenn Hoddle says, I watched Juve this weekend and they were absolutely dreadful first 45. Yeah. Hager says, yeah, could see Benfica winning that. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Benfica winning this, to be fair. Yeah, definitely.
Benfica could definitely go here in probably better spirits than Juve. It's kind of what I was kind of babbling on about, but it's, you know,
definitely.
It is in Turin, so again, similar to what we're saying, these venues can play a part sometimes.
Definitely. Okay, that's the Champions League out the way.
We did miss a Celtic game somehow.
Did we? How did we miss a Celtic game?
I don't know. Maybe they play Sharper's band Celtic.
I think they actually. I think they must have, because the Rangers lineup isn't out either. I think you've been banned. Celtic have been shadow banned.
Shadow banning the Celtic. That's mental.
I did see something like that on Twitter. If somebody in the chat can sort
of me
a little
I was only joking.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw something like they've stopped doing certain lineups or something. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs, if I'm honest. If somebody in the chat can sort of better inform us on that, but I'm sure there was something to do with it. Honestly, maybe I'm just chatting a load of rubbish, but I'm sure, there was something like that.
That's funny.
Okay, Europa League. We won't look through every single one, to be completely honest, because we could just be here all night. But yeah, if one of them stand out to Quinny, then I'll sort of click into them. But yeah, we've obviously got Midtjylland, Lazio, Olympiacos, Freiburg, Qarabag, Nantes. None of these are really tickling my fancy, to be honest. Sheriff, Man U, probably a walk in the park for United. Sociedad, Nicosia, Feyenoord at home, but Sturm Graz on. I don't think Sturm Graz are like, well, maybe they. Well, yeah, Feyenoord are massive favourites actually. Wow, I didn't expect that. Did you? Or maybe you did.
Yeah, I don't know. Austria against Dutch teams are always pretty decent. Feyenoord got to the Conference League final as well last year, so
they did. Yeah, they did. I guess.
You know, they'll be in favour.
Definitely. Trabzonspor home to whoever that is at Belgrade, isn't it? I think. Actually, Gums, I think they're playing tonight. Actually, Trabzonspor. Again, favourites in that, but not by a massive stretch. Monaco at home to, I'm not even going to be able to pronounce that, Quinn. You might have to help me. Ferencvaros or something?
Ferencvaros.
Wow. That was tough for me.
So like as we've played them, so at least I know.
That makes me feel a little bit better, to be fair. Monaco just come off the back of a nice win yesterday against Lyon 2-1 at home. My boy Badiashile getting on the score sheet.
Nice.
Of course, I didn't play him though. But yeah, big favourites for the game. I am worried a little bit about rotation for whatever reason, because they do have a few centre backs. Mangala Sarr, Mariappan can play. Mariappan got taken off in like the 68th minute, so I don't know whether that's anything. I don't know if it was injury related. If anyone watched the game, please do let me know, because that could help my decision making a little bit more on the Badiashile situation. But yeah, I see that game being a bit of a walk in the park for Monaco. Brugge, Union Berlin. I tell you what, Union Berlin are what a team this season, Quinny.
What a story! They keep defying the odds the last couple of seasons. They keep thinking, they won't do it again. Like they've been punching above their weight for a wee while, but yeah, fair play to them, man. They've been doing solid.
Yeah, they really have. That's Yannick Aberba was like a Football Index, not a legend for me, but he was somebody that like I had my eyes on at one point, but he was always injured. He was at Freiburg actually at the time, but yeah, it's just funny seeing him pop up. And yeah, Diego Leite as well.
They did lose the last game against Union 1-0. They did get a man sent off. And it was S. Michel, whoever that is. I don't know. I'm sorry. Sven Michel. So he'll be out.
Arsenal PSV's off.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that actually. Crap. I've got Savio on a team. Bugger.
Yeah, Arsenal PSV's off. Roma, I'm not even going to bother pronouncing this because I'm just going to look like an absolute idiot.
Who is it? Helsinki?
Is that Helsinki? Is it? Why?
I don't know. I'm guessing
that's in. I'm guessing, yeah.
It looks like a mad Finnish name. Like the second word, that Jongan Calapuguli, whatever it is.
Yeah, but I don't like to for that. I'll be honest. I'd much prefer if it just said Helsinki. That would help me out so much more. Okay, yeah, Roma at home. I mean, yeah, these are massive favourites. How did Roma get on the weekend? Did they get? Oh no, they're playing tonight. Sorry, actually, they're actually playing right now. To be fair, yeah, there's some nice matchups I think in the Europa League, like Feyenoord, Monaco, Trabzonspor, Roma, Stade Rennais against Fenerbahce. That could be a tasty fixture. Zurich away to Boni Blind, USG at home to Malmo, and then Betis at home. I seen. Is it Jumanji just did his ACL for Betis? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. Pretty sure Jumanji's done his ACL.
Oofed.
However you say his name, if I've pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry.
I don't know who he is, but it sounds cool.
I'm sure he's their sort of like one of their main forwards. And I think Fakir's out as well, actually. Okay, Conference League, Ghent at home to Shamrock. Surely that's a walk in the park for Ghent.
You think so, yeah? Especially at home. But Shamrock will fight, but if Ghent can make it about football, they'll probably get a couple of goals. But some of their big players need to perform. That's the problem with Ghent, is they're so flaky.
Basel away
Alkmaar got Vaduz, the second division team from Liechtenstein or whatever, that have knocked out like some teams on the way into this group. So it should be a big win for AZ, but a few teams have said that about Vaduz this year. So we'll see. But I think there'll be some heavy AZ stacks out with this fixture.
100%. Yeah, I can see some big AZ stacks going off. This midweek, Silverspor away, Cologne at home.
Cologne at home is a great fixture.
It is a nice fixture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Florian Kainz, another Football Index legend.
So yeah, Eric Martel, a good game for him. Jonas Hector, old favourite of mine.
Yeah, he was. I do remember that little stint that you had with Hector. Yeah, that does look like a nice fixture. Like Poznan at home to Austria win. Silkeborg away at home to West Ham. Partizan Belgrade. Nice, that could be interesting. Won't be an easy game for Nice, but yeah, they've brought Sofiane Diop in, haven't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, probably to replace Guri in a sense, I guess. Creatively, anyway. I know they're different players, but
yeah.
The boy Aaron Ramsey's out injured, of course, just in time for the international break.
Wasn't he quite there to save the Queen, but sort of was saying in the build up to the game, wasn't it? All the Aaron Ramsey memes were out.
Yeah. Red Devil. Anyone know if David Roof is playing or going to be benched? Same for Maeda. Quinny, could you sort of talk on what you kind of think is going to happen with Maeda? Or
I've got no idea.
No.
I've got absolutely no idea. I dropped a video on my channel about Celtic against Shakhtar. If you want to check that out, you can. But I think I'm picking Maeda, Jota, and Kyogo to start. But without the Livingston game at the weekend, I think we were talking about this, Harry, before we actually came on live. But without the Livingston game at the weekend, I've seen the same about another team in the stream. It's really hard to judge, the progression from the last game into the next one, where the manager's at. Like Kyogo didn't play against Livingston to score a goal, so you then don't go into this game knowing, Kyogo's very likely to start, or Maeda didn't start and do something or whatever. So there's a strong argument to say the manager just keeps the same starting lineup as it played at Real Madrid. And there's every argument that it changes the front line completely. And I say in that video as well, I wouldn't be surprised if there is any kind of curveball changes. I don't expect them, but somebody like Aaron Moy feels primed to get a starting position. And if he does, then God knows what the rest of the team looks like, because I can't imagine him and McGregor in the starting 11. Who then does that push out? So I don't really know, but I'm just going with the safe team that I've picked the last 2 weeks and been wrong with. Jota, Kyogo, and Maeda.
Georgie thinks Abada might start or will start.
Man. Yeah, it could, man, very easily. I kind of thought, against Ross County, kind of wilted a bit. I was really surprised he started against Rangers, and he did well, obviously, very well. But against Real Madrid, he didn't really do himself any favours, in terms of. But again, Maeda's not had the opportunity to, against Livingston or something, to come in and take the spot back. So Abada's got and Giakoumakis, they've got every opportunity to start. I've got no idea how it's going to go in that sense.
Yeah, I do think it's tough, like Quinny said, without that sort of weekend game to sort of bounce off of. But yeah, there is a few other fixtures, like we said. We got Japanese games, K League. We have quite a lot of MLS games as well, which I weren't actually aware of. Because I saw that FC Dallas weren't playing. Obviously, I have a Jesus Ferreira, so that's kind of like my bread and butter in terms of my MLS boys. But yeah, I didn't realize there was that many fixtures. Fair play.
Yeah, fair amount. I've got so I've managed to make like is it like 10 teams? Yeah, I've made 10 teams. And I've managed to try and keep my Celtic cards a bit better. Like, I did what I should have did this weekend and keep them together in case they didn't go ahead and then I'd still have some teams running. I didn't do that at the last minute. I got greedy and put my Jota in my best team and put the other cards in their normal places and whatever, and it all backfired. But in All-Star Rare Pro, I'm actually able to get like a song actually one MLS player in truth, but thanks to MLS, like I can do a really strong All-Star Pro and an All-Star Rare team using like MLS pieces to kind of buff it out where I don't have like, all the Celtic cards or whatever. And yeah, so MLS is actually coming in clutch for me this game week. With Oblak being injured as well, it's an absolute kick in the stones.
Yeah, that doesn't help, does it, to be fair? Right, Quinny, would you like to take us through the prize pools for sort of not every competition, but just
let's do prize
some
pools.
of the main ones? Yeah?
Yeah. Are you on my screen?
Yeah.
It's sorted. Right, so the first one we always want to look at is All-Star Rare Pro, the big one. There's only 61 cards. Now, for a midweek, like, what do we normally expect for a midweek? Maybe like 50-ish, 60-ish, is it? That's kind of normal, I suppose, isn't it? I think MLS will probably push it up a bit. Yeah, so maybe it's a wee bit higher than normal, maybe by a couple of cards. Stars for top 10 is pretty consistent and solid. Tier 1s for the next 25 spots is tasty. And Tier 2s, that's actually a pretty decent pool top to bottom. How many entrants we got there now?
There's like 1,000 close to. Yeah.
We've got 1,000, yeah. And again, like, you know, we're at the 11th hour of the game week. So how many of these will be really strong? I don't know, maybe about 50% or so at this point of the game, probably. So yeah, decent chance that if you've got a team that pops off, they could go pretty far. Under 23 is probably the one that most people probably pay attention to. For a region that gets 7 stars midweek is pretty decent. Between 7 and 9, I think, is always quite good for one of the regions, depending on how busy they are. But U23 is obviously a bit different to most of the other ones. Tier 1s, 8 to 25 is decent. And then that Tier 2 tails actually what kind of kills it. It's kind of narrow. There's not that many spots actually there.
Yeah, I guess not. But yeah, you'd expect a little bit more considering you've got MLS is well in there. But yeah, I don't know.
Under 23 rare, like you were getting only get a podium of star rares, but then we're getting 13 10 play for the next 10 places, you then get tier 1s, then 14 up to basically 50 for tier 2s. That's a decent chunk. And then a huge tier 3 tail of almost 100 spots.
Jesus, yeah.
And that's a decent division to be fighting in. If you've got the right cards, there's only 700 entrants in that compared to what's in under 23 pro, which has got 200 entrants. So the ratios. Actually, I had the numbers mixed up in my head there for a second. I thought I was upside down, but that's actually still decent on the ratios, isn't it?
Yeah, both decent ratios to be fair. Yeah, nothing crazy out of the ordinary.
I think PSG are going to wipe the floor with Maccabi. So I think outside of that, I don't know if there's any other Champ Euro teams that could really go off. Maybe the division you see those teams actually the least might be Champion Europe Rare, because you're going to see those guys in All-Star Rare Pro. You're going to see them in Champ Euro Rare Pro. You're going to see the big hitters in, like, if they fit into specialists and underdogs, and that kind of thing. So maybe Champ Euro Rare, maybe if you've got the right team playing somebody, maybe you could squeak in and get a tier 1 and a tier 2 or something. But I think you would really need to know your fixture and really know your players. If you had AC Milan, for example, you could maybe do it with a good spine there and a bit of a dressing on from something like Roma at home at Helsinki. You know, if you maybe get the attackers from that or something. So I think Champ Euro, if you maybe have a wee stab at it, especially with these specialist competitions. I was just double checking these were here. You know, so for these these are all limiteds, but a decent prize pool here. And with the conditions of L15 under 40s for 2 cards and max 1 L15 over 60, that's actually really tasty for just a region, a specialist region for limiteds. Fair enough, the limited isn't that great, but tier 1s and 2s are a plenty if you've got a team that's going to pull it off. And that kind of principle of those teams paying off. If you can pick a team that would fit that, what you're hoping to get is like 380 points. Well, if you've got about 380 points, maybe champ, Euro, rare, before captains, before multipliers, maybe you can catch something in there if you have the cards knocking about. Maybe a tier 3, tier 2, yeah. If you've got the cards knocking about, rather than putting them into underdog or specialist or whatever, potentially. America, for having a full MLS league, we've got 25 cards, 6 stars for a region, which isn't too bad. Tier 1's decent enough. Tier 2 is the kind of killer of the pool. There's only 5 cards there, so not much of a tail. You're either in the top 25 and getting something, or you're left with nothing. So quite unforgiving this game week, and it is just MLS. There's a wee bit of other stuff from about the place, but yeah. And in terms of super rares and stuff, if anyone cares, I think that's a pretty decent prize pool for All-Star. I'm in the region. Regions are normally less than 10. They're about the same as normal. And yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Specialist, the overall specialist one that I like to prioritize. Where is it? There we go. So we've got 33 rares. Star rares for the podium. The next 10 places basically get tier 1s. The next 20 places basically get a tier 2 limited. So if you can get into the top 33, then you're looking at picking up a rare card with a full limited team. The next 120 positions or so will then get a tier 2 limited. And then the next 180 or so positions will get a tier 3 limited. And again, this is L15 under 40 cards and all the rest of it. That's who I'm throwing out. I might need to change Dzeko if we don't think he starts. But yeah, these divisions can be won by anything, and it's a good prize pool to be fishing in. But I think to be optimistic, like really optimistic of breaking the top 100, you really need to know your cards that you've picked, and you've maybe deliberately sought them out. But teams like mine, I'm just kind of crossing my fingers that the combination I've picked pays off. Yeah, I think that's kind of the long and short of it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Do you want to just kick straight off into your teams, and then we can do mine after? Because I've only got a couple, to be fair. So
yeah, sure. Well,
yeah,
I'll just kind of take them in order that are sitting here. So All-Star Limited, I went with King Carlos, the Argentinian Trent, and then El Mago. Now, David Silva and Real Sociedad are playing Ammonia Nicosia. I think this will be a great fixture for Real Sociedad. David Silva and Brais Mendes started the weekend on the bench, so they're well rested, and yeah, that could be a great game for them. And then I've went with Rio and Kyogo because they're great picks, and I don't think there was much need or desire to put them in our team. And that's, for this prize pool, what we're looking at, top 35 for a Star Limited. This team, like, they could all get decisives. The goalkeeper can get over 60 on AA. They could get a clean sheet, very capable. This team could, I could definitely think about top 50 with a team like that, top 100, so yeah, that team I'm actually pretty buzzing about. All-Star Rare processes, no Celtic cards. So I've actually got Trubin in goals because I don't have any other keeper. Trubin will be playing against Celtic, of course. So
yeah.
Every save Trubin makes kind of goes to helping us, kind of, if he makes any saves. Taylor Harwood-Bellis has got a great fixture. Obviously didn't play at the weekend, but away at Preston, it should be a great game for him to get AA. Not expecting, I've not even looked at the head-to-head, but Preston, I'm not scared of them. Brais Mendes didn't start, but came off the bench and got a goal. He's got 3 decisives in his last 3 games since coming back into my club. It's just magic. He's at home to Ammonia Nicosia. He is going to rip it up. He's in my best team. Marcelino Nunes, the wonder kid that is at home at Bristol City. He didn't play at the weekend. He'll be fit and firing and have a great game. And then Johnny fucking Russell is at home to Wayne Rooney's DC United. He should be getting in amongst some decisive actions as well. Wayne Rooney, if you don't know, he's playing 15-year-olds, he's playing 12-year-olds, he's playing all the kids, and with Gabriel Slonina in the hope of changing the results around. So anyway, minus Trubin, I'm really excited about this team. And the price,
I like to look at that a lot.
For All-Star Rare Pro, I can think about top 10 with that, I can definitely think about top 50, maybe get a card. Probably get a card. Cross our fingers, eh?
Would you take a 0-0 at Celtic?
No. But if it did happen, I've got a bit of insurance here.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Would that sort of make up for Celtic not score?
Now, in All-Star Rare, this is why I didn't want to put Trubin here, because I'm putting Kyogo and Jota in D4, in All-Star D4. So I didn't have another super rare where I thought I'm going to go hard in at under 23s. I just thought I'll break my under 23s apart. So Harwood Bellis, Marcelino Nunes, Jens and Jota are my 4 best. So Jens goes in here, Jota goes in here with captain, Kyogo goes in here, and then Ryan Gauld makes his competitive debut for FC Barcelona at home to the LA Galaxy. And then my reward from last week, is at home to LAFC. So I don't expect Dane St. Clair to get a clean sheet, but I do expect him to be making lots of saves and shit. So like maybe that works out okay. Worst case scenario, these 5 guys get me some ETH. Best case scenario, this team could definitely get top 100. And if we get top 100, then who knows? We get lucky with the prize pool. Maybe we get something decent.
Yeah,
two fun teams, and then it doesn't really matter how the Celtic result goes. I'm on both sides of the coin almost. My big team, I'm going into Challenger Euro Pro. I'm opting to play Hatate forward card so that I don't need to worry about the clean sheet, and I don't need to worry about who plays between Maeda and Abada and Giakoumakis and whatever. I think Kyogo's a great shout for starting. I'm not really too concerned about Kyogo. Maeda and Abada is definitely way more questionable. So I think this is 5 starters, and if we get decisives in the first half, all these guys could be involved, and that's when the magic happens. Underdog Super. So the goalkeeper doesn't mean anything for anyone watching this. So you just pick a card of a different scarcity to the competition, and then you can do it with any position, but no, everyone does it with the goalkeeper because it just makes the most sense. So I've went with the Hatate defender card. If this comes in, it means that Hatate walks off the pitch as a 60th minute sub with a decisive and the clean sheet at that point intact. So he's got the captain bonus in case he can jackpot out in that sense. Wanyama got 100 at the weekend. He's been on a steady form of he can pick up 20 points in every match. So he's a decent underdog card to go in. Llorente was rested at the weekend. He can be very effective against Leverkusen defensively and offensively. And Giakoumakis, whether from the start or from the bench, could get a goal. So this team
I don't mind that.
Could do something, man. It's only the podium. So it's all duck, no dinner, or whatever the saying is. Or, you either make it or you don't. So it is what it is. But none of these guys would go, in my opinion, into the D3 team. I don't think they would replace THB or Brace for how certain they are and how good their fixture is. In particular, and equally, I don't think any of the underdog guys would go into this team. So I just don't think there's a better case for them. Underdog rare, imagine they get this team out, and again, like Leipzig are playing Real Madrid. I'm not holding my breath. The Rio Hatate card, if he doesn't get decisive, probably won't score amazingly either, particularly in an underdog setting where any XP won't kind of help him out. And Joel Chima Fujita has been playing, might not start. It's just always that kind of Japanese roulette, if you like. And again, it doesn't count for anything. Under 23s, I'm really excited about this team. Captain Marcelino Nunes, Tonali at home to Zagreb, Hakimi away to Maccabi. And then if Abada does start, or even if Abada comes off the bench, I've got just as much faith in him. But and then Muric should be playing as well, having obviously a wee bit of time to recover from the wee niggles and knocks he keeps picking up. So
it's a nice team, I like that.
Yeah, I think, man, it could top 15. I'm thinking about it. Top 50. I'm definitely thinking about that. They all need to come in, of course, but Tonali could. The middle three here of Hakimi, Tonali, and Nunes could definitely rock out 80s between them, and then with XPs and whatever, they could do decent enough. And then as long as Abada, if he starts, if he can do some A or something, and Muric doesn't get humped, that's the basis of a 350 point team there, which another 23 can go pretty far in the midweek, I think. Specialist Sam Bastian comes in here. I think he starts. Him and Kostic are my only decent L15 under 40 qualified cards. Dzeko, I don't know. I don't think he's going to start. But again, even from the bench against Pilsen, he could be scoring a goal. So not too worried about that.
Definitely good for sure.
I don't think I've got a better option. And in terms of L15 under 40s, I don't think I've got anything else hiding in the background. The weekend. Nah. So yeah, that's pretty much just my best options, and I've just put those two guys together, Vickers and Hart, because why not? Actually, do you know, as I'm looking at this, would it be better replacing Vickers and Hart for Lampe and Blanco, and then I'm keeping all those Celtic cards together again, maybe kind of spreading my risk? But I think even defensively, we could score well versus, was it Lampe and this guy? Yeah, okay, I think I might do that actually. Slampy's a 60. Yeah, I think I might do that. So let's see Hart. I might just swap them around just to keep any potential falls together and apart. Yeah, that's fine. And then actually I'm going to captain El Mago against Neil Lennon's Ammonia Nicosia. And then, yeah, I'll just tweak that team. Yeah, sorted. Just a wee bit of...
Jigging around, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Just in case. Keep Celtic together as much as I can. And I think there might be, I think there's one more team, but that might have been, I've got 2 underdog teams left. The underdog 45 there's no point looking at. It's actually the last team imaginable I could pick. But this isn't too bad. Gabby's expected to start, as is Marcos Llorente. This guy's a reward. He's been playing the last couple of games. I've got no idea. And Rio Hatate, defender card again, captain in an underdog situation in limited and an underdog super rare. So that's kind of 2 things happening, or 1 thing happening twice. So
no, there's some nice exciting teams there, Quinny. I'm quite excited for you there, to be honest. I mean, obviously a lot of this riding on your boys sort of doing the business, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities of them doing so. It's not going to be easy, but I think, but then on the flip side, you do have a few teams.
I think they're 3 really good looking teams, man. As I sit back,
especially the All-Star Red Pro. I do like the look of Bryce, Hardwood Bellis, Johnny Russell. You know, with his fixture, there's some like potential hundreds in and around there. So you only need 2 of them and some nice scores around there. Just sort of excels you, doesn't it? In a way.
Scottish Messi could turn up as well. That could be good.
Definitely. Well, I've just got a question in here. William said, "Is it possible to get 100 euros in cards without spending money? And if it is, how many weeks?"
I'll take a while. You can play casual, and you can always have a shot at casual at winning cards for 0 outlay. And then even if you were to spend like a couple of quid, like I was looking at limiteds today in the MLS, like for example, Yaimar Gomez Andrade, who did 84 points at the weekend, plays every game for Seattle. Seattle, one of the best teams in the league traditionally, yada, yada, yada. His limited is 15 quid, right? So to play like the academy, there's players like him that you could spend under 50 quid on 2 of them. And you could definitely like go into the academy and have really solid attempts at pulling the free cards out of that. How much they will be worth when that's all said and done, no one could tell you. But yes, it is kind of possible depending on how you want to go about it.
Possible, but very, very, very hard, I would say, in the way that he sort of asked the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, broadly speaking, it's very tough.
If you're just using commons,
Yeah, like
you need to go at it for ages and get the best commons, and then just know when to play Kimmich and Mbappe and Messi commons together, and the rest of it.
Yeah,
you need an insane amount of them.
100%. Surface with the nice donation. Surface, thank you so much. I think that's the second time you've done that. So yeah, really, really appreciate that, Surface. I didn't even know you were in here. Maybe you just arrived. But yeah, do really appreciate it. Right, should we go ahead and try and get my lineups out?
Fist bump, Surface, love it.
Okay, so from my point of view, I've got one team that I'm kind of nailed on with sort of playing. And then around that, there's going to be a bit of sort of tweaking in terms of where we're going to play the rest. But yeah, the goalie position is basically Lafont or Costa. And I just really can't trust Lafont right now. Like, as much as I want to, away to Qarabag, I just don't like, I don't know. I'm just not confident.
Qarabag is dodgy as fuck. It's a mad plastic pitch. It's in Qarabag again. It's in Georgia. They're dodgy as fuck. Like, Celtic played them a few years ago. They are like a hard away game. It's like the crappiest pitch in the world. Like, it's black rubber pellets.
Yeah, no, I can definitely sort of foresee that happening, and just Nantes might win the game 3-0, but I just think Costa at home is just a safer option. Don't get me wrong, I do fear Club Brugge and their sort of attacking options and what they could do, but at the same time, I think it's just a lot easier to just go with Costa. Defensively, there's definitely options. Badiashile obviously stands out. I know I'm biased because he just scored on the weekend, but it's a home fixture. I know there's rotational. Like, there is a worry in the back of my mind.
What competition is that? Europa?
That is Europa, yeah. And he played the lot. Like, I thought he'd get.
Yeah.
So they won the. Sorry. So what I was gonna. He started the Europa League game last week. Which I didn't think he would. Like, I left him out, and then he started. Obviously, he started this weekend, left him out. So he's bound to not play. Is basically what I'm getting at, because I've not played him for the last 2 game weeks.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I could play Tanguy away to Copenhagen. Do I love the fixture as much as Badiashile? No. So am I going to risk Badiashile? Yes, is basically the answer there. as my extra player, there's a couple good candidates for this, but I think Fofana at home to Salzburg, sorry. I just see there being a lot of action, to be completely honest. He scored really well against Zagreb, even though they lost the game.
Oh, really? Well, that's good.
Yeah, like he scored like an 80, where is it to? 76, yeah. He scored really well with no clean sheet, that is, and conceding a goal. With XP as well. So it just, for me, that makes sense. I've got a Pedri. I know this is stupid. Like, I've got a Pedri that might not be able to fit into a good team this week. Enzo Fernandez as well is another rare that probably should be playing somewhere, of course. Timber away to Liverpool isn't amazingly satisfying. So that's kind of what I've done with that. I do have a few supers, though, that can kind of fit in places. Yaiva Sharon being one. Zion Fleming at home to QPR. Jean Mario at home to Club Brugge. But nothing like Carlson's injured, so I can't play him. But yeah, nothing that's like screaming at me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Florentino Luis as my second super rare. Again, just kind of makes sense. Like, Sforza actually scored 40 AA on the weekend. He was on an absolute like storm. He's a tier 3 super rare that I had. He captained New Old Boys on the weekend. He was like, from what I've learned, a bit of like a wonder kid during the youth ranks. Kind of went off the boil over, like, even though he plays regularly, like he isn't just like, he is an Enzo Fernandez basically. But I think he picked up his 5th yellow card on the weekend. So I don't think I'm able to play him. I do have an Alan Varela who does have a good fixture, I think, on paper. They just beat River Plate 1-0 in their derby match yesterday. I think Benedetto got the goal. I don't know if you've seen it, but like have you seen the clip when Benedetto scored?
Not yet.
Benedetto, whatever his name is, sorry, the forward for Boca Juniors, scored a header, and obviously he's done it in front of the home fans. And like, it's almost as if like like all the fans like rush to the pitch, and he's like climbing up the fence. It's unbelievable. It's a really cool watch.
I have seen the fence climbing, but at least
yeah. But like before that, all the fans start running towards the pitch. Obviously, they can't get on it, but like it looked quite scary, to be honest. But yeah, it was nuts. And then Jens Odegaard's my forward. I'm a little bit short. I know I've got a fatty there, which sounds stupid, but like away to Bayern, he isn't going to start. I know he came off the bench and got a goal on the weekend, but against Cadiz. So yeah, Jens Odegaard's a definite. The only thing I'm worried about here is Benoit, to be completely honest.
If you're worried about him, what's wrong with Tanguy? Are you worried about his fitness? Because that's a great fixture. If you think he's playing.
I am. I mean, obviously rested on the weekend, so it'd be a shock to me if he didn't play. But then I think Badiashile could like smash. I don't think Tanguy smashes here. I don't know why.
You're not sure Benoit plays?
I've been like that for the last 3 game weeks when he's played every game. So it's like it's just maybe a me problem, if that makes sense.
Got you.
Like he's played every game. I can't there's nothing there that tells me he shouldn't play. But like, I just don't know. I don't know why. I always have like a weird sort of love-hate relationship with him. Dalot's got a great fixture. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about Dalot? Who does Dalot have?
They play Sheriff away.
I don't know. That could be funny. I don't know. Yeah, probably it's a great fixture. But I was going to say, is it maybe a shout doing double defense super rare? I don't know if I don't know. Is Florentino Luis, so how many points are you expecting out of him away at Juve?
I'm expecting, 50-55 probably. Yeah. Which I'd be happy with. But yeah, like you said, double defense would be going with Tanguy and then going with Enzo instead of Luis, basically, which I don't know. Like, I'd prefer to go with Luis as the super, and then because I really do think Fofana crushes. So I don't know if that would be entirely worth it in that sense.
Sure.
I just think, 2 home fixtures for Monaco, Chelsea, higher chance of clean sheets and sort of getting the job done that way. But now the next contemplation is, do I play a under 23 super rare team with a rare goalkeeper in Lafont, or do I go under 23 rare? I'll show you the 2 teams now.
Sure.
So it's going to be Lafont.
Nice.
Dalot has to play. Sure. Unfortunately or fortunately, Enzo obviously plays. The problem is here then Fati then becomes the forward, which I don't think he's going to start. He'll get minutes, but is that enough to do anything? Probably not. So this is the only reason why I don't want to go with this team. Obviously, you could put Pedri in here, of course, and sort of call it a day there. You could obviously put Timber instead here. I don't think it's going to be a massive difference. I just worry about the Fati, basically. I love, obviously, the 3 in the middle here, but Fati, I think, really lets it down.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So then we'll sort of cancel that. And then in terms of an under 23 super rare team, it would be Lafont in goals. We'd obviously make use of Tanguy. We would then make use of Varela. And then we could go with double forwards. We could go with Zion at home to QPR and João Mario. But if I'm going with one, I think I am going with Zion just because he's sort of played quite well over the last 2 games. Like, he hasn't had a decisive yet, but I'd rather a forward playing up there than a right back is basically what I'm getting at. And then it's basically going with Yari, which I don't think is a terrible team, to be completely honest.
No, away at Bucharest could be a good game for Anderlecht to get some goals, you know. So yeah, definitely could be.
Like, all my players are sort of low on decisives. You know, Varela never really seems to get any, so I'm not expecting any from him. But you know,
like
Yari and Zion are due decisives. But
I like that.
there's no reason. Yeah, there's definitely something to it. Then the next question would be, who would you fancy as captain there?
Are you expecting all of them to start?
I'd be shocked if any of them don't start. The only one that might not start is Zion, but there's no like, he started the last 2. They've won the last 2 games, so I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Obviously, the DMP there is obviously because you know, the fixture got postponed this weekend. So yeah, I don't think none of them. Like, I'd be shocked if any of them don't start. Basically, is what I'm getting at.
I don't know. I think Yari's the most decisive, capable.
Yeah.
Him and Varela. I don't really know the Varela guy that well, to be quite frank. But
Varela plays like centre mid for Boca, but he's never really going to get you a DA, but he can eat now and again. Like, this 70 here is just AA. Like, he can get 30, 35s AA quite comfortably. So it's like, do I sort of bank on that, or do I bank on the Yari sort of DA? Is kind of the
Tanguy could rack up a good 90. You know,
definitely could. Yeah,
only, you know.
No, 100%.
I personally would pick Yari because Yari could get 2 assists or shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
Or he'll score
I can see that.
Points.
Yeah, basically, and get brought off in like the 50th. Okay, yes, that then basically means that I can just throw in a all-star team which doesn't have a goalkeeper or a playing goalkeeper to grab me some ETH. I know this is going to sound stupid and look stupid because I have some big players in here, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles this week. To be completely honest, I know it looks like a bit of a waste, but you just got to play. You got to play your cards, you know, where suited, and I just feel like this is sort of my best bunch of rares and supers together. And then unfortunately, my big rares are kind of up against it this weekend. Pedri being one of them. Enzo, I know I'm playing Florentino, but you know, if I had an Enzo super, obviously I would play an Enzo super, but I don't. So that's kind of what I'm going into this game week with. And then the other reason why I like going in with this super, the under 23 super, is obviously right now 59 players and 14 cards isn't a bad ratio at all. I know that's going to increase a little bit, but you know, it's not out of the ordinary. Surface says, what does my super specialist? I couldn't do a super specialist, Surface, because I don't have a super rare goalkeeper. I could play underdog, to be fair. But then, you know, I would be taking.
I was going to suggest that.
Yeah. But then I just like 3 prizes. If I could just do the same team in under 23 super rare and have the chance of winning, you know, out of 14 prizes with way less players. You know what I'm saying?
Is that not an additional team you could do? Because if you're not get spare parts, you could still do an underdog entry with.
Good question. It would be close. I would have to. So, like, I know João Mario is able to play. Yeah, João Mario can play. Obviously, Forza is not going to play. Campbell might play, actually, but no, not really. No, Vitessen's game's cancelled. So, no, you're looking at 2 players, basically.
Fair enough.
Is the issue. But like, all those supers that I've put into the under 23 super rare could play in underdog, which then leaves Lafont free. But then that means I have to then resort back to playing Fatty in under 23 rare. I could make it under. You know what I'm saying? Go on.
I don't know. I think you should. I don't know. I'd much rather see your all-star rare team have a goalkeeper.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking like that doesn't like winning a tier 3 super rare excites me a little bit more than winning a bit of ETH. I know that sounds like maybe like a pipeline dream a little bit, but it's not really when you're looking at like the participants and how many cards are available. You know, like I don't get me wrong, there's going to be some big teams in here that like I'm not going to be able to compete with for the most part, but you know, you just don't know. These players could have or a good day. And
let me ask you this: is there anyone in that team that would be better than that would be better for you in your D3 entry? Because like I do think if you can get the goalkeeper into pro and you got one of these, if you've in your head told yourself, oh no, I'm not going to pick him for D3 because I'm going to play him for D2. If one of those guys really should be in D3 to make that team even better, I would make
When you
those
say
two.
D3, are you saying all-star D3?
Yeah, or no,
Yeah.
you're under 23 pro.
Oh no, I wouldn't change anyone from here.
No.
The only other thing I could do is make an all-star rare pro team.
Would you not put Verscharen in there over Florentino Luis?
No. I
No.
can't rely on Visharan right now, personally.
And you wouldn't put in Zion Fleming ahead of him either, or whoever else was in
No,
that team. None of
definitely
those
not.
players get ahead of him. Fair enough.
No, I can't. Like they're D2 players for me right now. I can't risk, like, Zion hasn't even got a DA yet for Millwall, so it's like I
Sure.
can't.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? It's just too much of a risk. But then there is scope to do something here. I could go I could go Tanguy, I could go Enzo. I could play either Fleming or Mario Lasses Fleming, and then I could go with another rare, whether that's Timber. Like, it's obviously a better looking team, but then you're up against better teams, elsewhere, in the sort of division. Like, I like the look of that team. I don't think that's a bad looking team at all in any way. Maybe that's the play, and then just going in with just trying to scrape some ETH with 4 players. Like, again, that doesn't like not excite me. Like, I do like the look of that, to be completely honest. Like, I'm not bothered about the all-star team, to be honest. I'm a D3 sort of hope this midweek, and yeah, does that have more of a chance of a card in that specific tournament against arguably harder teams and than playing those pieces in under 23 super rares? Basically, the contemplation.
Yeah. Well, you've been very successful in that super rare division, Harry. Do you think that team can be amongst those teams that have led you to glory?
Maybe, but I've never really had success midweek, to be honest. Or I've never really had the pieces to do midweek. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been able to, because Tanny obviously normally plays on the weekends. I never really seem to have anything going on there. So yeah, tough question to sort of answer. But like, I just don't think it's out of the realm. I see scores being lower in this than in All-Star Rare Pro, basically, is what I'm getting
Show
at.
me your All-Star Rare team again quickly, 2 seconds.
The All-Star Rare team is this. So like should start will come off the bench. Like, it might script the pro team.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is if you had Verscharen in here somehow, because I was thinking if Verscharen is going to maybe pop off and get some decisives, and then so do you have another forward other than Zion Fleming? It's just Fatty, isn't it? So it's kind of Zion makes this team happen. So Zion makes this team happen.
I mean, you could swap Yari straight in for Tanga, because I already have Timber as the defense. I'm like double defense here, but I don't fancy Yari to outscore Tanga. I'm really like not happy with Yari right now, is basically what I'm getting at. Like, I just don't, even though it's an okay fixture, like away from home, albeit, but like Yari just isn't doing it for me right now. And I'm just like, I just don't know if I can take the risk on him.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my issue. Like, I like him as a player, but he's just not doing it. And then I look at Tanga and I'm like we've sort of mentioned Copenhagen, like he should score well, even though Sevilla aren't the best team in the world. I see that team having a decent shot at something. I know there's only 61 cards is what I worry about, and there being over 1,000 participants. Ratio wise, it's going to be tough, but I'm able to sort of fit in Enzo and Timber, which should help my chances. Somewhat, but yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with that. I can see something being done there, and a bit of a sweat somewhere. Jargy says I wouldn't trust Yari ATM. He isn't doing good at all. And by the way, we got QPR fan in here. Millwall game should go ahead as planned, but look out for the late postponement with it being in London, etc. And by the way, we never keep clean sheets, so Zion is a good shout.
Nice.
That's good to know. Hopefully he gets first DA of his championship career. But been a pleasure. We've been going at 1 hour and 35, Quinny. Is there anything we've missed, really?
I think we got through it all. Touched all the bases.
I think we have as well. yeah, lads, if you could go leave a like on the live stream, that would be massively appreciated. And yeah, it seems like all of you guys have been here for the whole duration. Like we've had like 40 viewers for literally the whole thing, which has been amazing. So yeah, really do appreciate that. And yeah, for taking the time out of your day to watch us babble on about the Champions League for an hour and a half is really appreciated. We will, Quinny, are we going to be over on your channel on Thursday? I know we haven't really confirmed it, but
should be on mine. Everything should be
perfect.
Back to scratch.
We could do it. We could do a bit of a watch along as well in terms of like one of the the Conference or Europa League games possibly.
If,
as well as sort of lineup building for the weekend's games as well, if that's what maybe it's on the agenda. But yeah, been an absolute pleasure. Quinny, thank you for joining me as always.
Absolute pleasure is mine, buddy.
Yeah, and we'll get going again on Thursday, lads. Like I said, really do appreciate you all watching. Surface, thank you. You really didn't have to donate that. I've really appreciated. And yeah, lads, have a good game week. Have a good midweek. And yeah, we'll see you on Thursday.
Boom.
Boom.